Okay, but to me, the big signing for you was in 1985 when you were signed along into Melchester Rovers.
Oh, yeah.
The Rovers with Tony Hadley and Martin Kemp from Spandau Ballet.
Yeah, and then ultimately Emily Hughes was in that team.
Emily Hughes, yeah, that's
but
correct.
the Spandau Ballet boys, Tony Hadley now, funnily enough, I had a dinner in my honour last year at the Emirates, and Tony was invited, and he sang a song. So, I mean, we still see Tony. Obviously, he's a massive Arsenal fan, those guys. But it was fun for a while to be out there and to see you getting to cup finals and all sorts of finals. Emlyn playing, me in goal. Again, very recently we had a keepsakes exhibition, and one of the artists who drew the cartoons, not cartoons, you know what I mean. Yeah. He came and he'd produced a front page. He'd produced just an old front page, as it were, and gave it me as a gift. And everybody said, "What? You played for Royal of the Road? You know, you played for Melchester."
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I know I've seen a few quizzes in the papers. Who won the League Cup for Melchester? No, it was something anyway. What team did? Oh yeah, when did Bob Wilson and Emily Hughes play in a League Cup final with winning team together?
Yeah. And
the answer was Melchester Rovers in 85?
I think it's 85, 86 season.
Oh my God.
When I've looked it up.
Well, at that time, I mean, I would have been.
You'd have retired.
I retired at 33, so I'd have been 43 playing in goal then, at least 44.
It did go mental over one season. Did they get in touch with you to ask about doing that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they obviously said, would you be interested? This is our idea.
Yeah.
And it created that, and obviously I was doing the telly by then. I was, just in the early time of my 28 years on television. So, it was great. And I mean, even now I look back and people laugh and see it and produce comics, and it's amazing how many comics are buried in people's attics.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how much time you've got left, but I've got some questions from some of my friends. Are you okay to run through?
I've got just a few minutes, yeah.
Oh, okay. Glyn Davis is asking, in light of the sort of change of management at Chelsea, do you think Arsene Wenger would be leaving Arsenal this summer?
No.
No, you don't?
He'd never ever walk out of a contract.
Right, okay.
I mean, the one thing there I can say, you would never have Arsene walk out of a contract unless he knew that there was a massive, at least 70-80% of people really not wanting to be there.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is all blown up out of a shareholders meeting, which I actually chaired 3 weeks ago, and in which one person only used a very, very unfortunate word to describe Mikel Silvestre, and Arsene took exception to it quite rightly.
Okay.
And it got blown out of all proportion. Out of all the people in there, only one person had said anything bad.
Right. Glyn also wants to know about playing with Liam Brady. Just how good you think Chippy was. Yeah,
well, Chippy was special. I mean, I feel I had a part in Chippy's career because in his first season he made his debut against Spurs. We lost, actually, in that game, in his debut game. But he had a wand for a left foot.
Yeah.
He had the most magical left foot. He had the most extraordinary brain, because Chippy was not like Theo Walcott. He couldn't cover 100 metres in 9 point whatever seconds.
Yeah.
And so there is a great saying in football, like Dennis Bergkamp, so many of the great players, there is this saying that, the first few yards are in your head.
In your head, yeah.
And it's your ability to read the game, have this almost peripheral vision, spatial awareness, they actually call it nowadays, like Bergkamp had. It's almost like 360 degrees vision.
Yeah.
And so, Chippy, one of the great players, and certainly one of Arsenal's top 6 ever players.
Okay. Joanne Wainwright wants to know why it looks like England are struggling to find a consistent goalkeeper as compared to the past, and who you think should be in goal for England these days.
Well, I know who should be to blame. People who should be to blame are the Football Association.
Yep.
I've got no bones about saying that. Their whole treatment of the development of youngsters. I ran a goalkeeping school for 13 years. We tried like mad for the FA to adopt.
Yeah.
We had professional standard boys coming through, and we had people who just loved playing in goal. We knew that the template, as it were, it was a great blueprint, but they ignored it, and they've gone on to ignore people like Gordon Banks, one of the greatest. David Seaman, one of the great goalkeepers. People like that who could pass on so much. Yeah. They have Ray Clements there now, but he doesn't actually do the goalies, the Italian guy. I don't agree, actually, that he's doing that. I saw Ray last week, and I just think you need those guys to, to be in there and develop the boys who do want to play in goal. And it's no longer... I used to think I still believe there are two glory positions. It is the guy who scores the goal and the guy who saves the goal. Yeah. The guy who scores the goal is a luckier guy because he can play 89 minutes and be rubbish and score the winning goal, and he's a hero. And the guys who play between the sticks, total reverse. Yeah. All they remember is the one error. But there is no goalie in the modern game, by the way, who doesn't make at least 2 or 3 errors every single game. Exactly. And that's because of the rule change in the ball, the movement of the ball and everything else.
Yeah, well, that covers the question from Daz Booth. It was asked if you thought we were doing enough to train schoolboys footballers. But Kev Gascoigne just wants to know, forget about the players, who do you think the current best pundit is, football pundit on the telly?
Ooh, wow, you've put me on the spot there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Goodness me. I mean, I actually always... do you know what? When I say there are several that I like and respect hugely, but they always stir me because, I look at Andy Gray on Sky and I like the way Andy delivers and his knowledge of the game, and he's succinct, but then he'll say something and drive me mad. But I'm sure I've done the same to a lot of people in my time. Alan Hansen, I've always thought. I tell you one thing on that is an interesting point. When I was the presenter and sometimes used as a pundit in World Cups and everything, I used to have a backup from a manager. When I was at Loughborough, I used to play at Wolves for 2 years as an amateur, just went over. That's where the controversy came up. And Stan Cullis kept in touch with me right through his retirement and during my television time. And he used to write to me and say, "You're doing really well, son. I liked what you said the other day." And then he'd say, "I'm giving you a warning now." He said, "You can talk about anything now to do with the playing side and the coaching side." He said, "Because you played to the highest level of the game and you coach for 28 years at the highest level of the game." He said, "But the moment you start to talk about management, I will switch my telly off." Right. And that's the area where I think... I know everybody has an opinion in the pub and everything, but I think when you're on the television and you start to be dogmatic about managers and contracts and pay players, what's gone wrong, the Arsene Wenger situation or whoever, Ancelotti, then that, I think I still hear Stan saying to me, those people who think they can talk about management when they know nothing whatsoever about it should not be allowed on the telly.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Many thanks for that, Bob. I know you've got to rush off now.
That's okay. It's a great pleasure to talk to you again.
But before you do, Bob, we're going to talk again in a few weeks about the online auction. Do you just want to briefly tell the listeners what that is?
Well, I think the best way of doing that really is to just get on the website. But there will be the online auction will be there. So the best way really is to see who are the signatures, what is there online. And can I just repeat once again that the best way of doing that is the website, which is willowfoundation.org.uk. The moment you put that into the old laptop or wherever it might be, you will see our front page, our home page, and everything. Then you can enter. And if not, if you want to just simply ring the charity, it is, as I said before, 01707 259 777.
01707 259 777.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Bob. We'll be in touch very soon to talk about the auction. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.